Tonight, a vow of retaliation from the President of the United States. The promise comes after a drone strike killed 3 American troops and wounded dozens more at a U.S. base in Jordan. The confusion that led up to those deadly moments. Plus.
So we're in the city of Mexicali, which is just across the border from Southern California. And because this city is so close to the U.S., there are some U.S. criminal suspects that think they can evade law enforcement by coming down here to Mexico to hide. But some of them end up getting surprised when they're met by a specialized group of police here in the state of Baja California.
The law enforcement unit you've probably never heard of, tracking down American fugitives hiding in Mexico, wanted for serious alleged crimes. Tonight, an inside look at the so-called gringo hunters. Good evening, everyone. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thanks so much for streaming with us. We're following those stories and much more, including new allegations that United Nations workers in Gaza took part in the October 7th terror attack, accused of supplying weapons and kidnapping victims. My conversation with the executive director of UN Watch about these bombshell accusations. Plus, denied why a judge says convicted killer Alec Murdaugh will not get a new trial. And startling images show a suspect accused of getting out of his car, following an 11-year-old girl as she walked to school and trying to kidnap her. But we do begin with that deadly attack on a U.S. military outpost in Jordan. The Pentagon has identified the 3 American service members killed in the attack on a logistics support base, all of them from the same reserve unit based in Georgia. President Biden has vowed to hold those responsible to account, quote, at a time and in a manner of our choosing. He met with his national security team in the Situation Room today, and we're learning more about how the enemy drone eluded defenses. It's a case of mistaken identity that threatens to further inflame tensions in the region. Tonight, some Republicans are calling for the U.S. to attack inside Iran. The Pentagon is now drawing up options to offer to the president. ABC's chief global affairs anchor Martha Raddatz leads us off.
Tonight, new details on that brazen drone attack that killed 3 American soldiers and wounded more than 40 others at Tower 22, a remote U.S. base in the Jordanian desert. The Pentagon saying those soldiers, many Army reservists from an engineering unit, were asleep in their beds early Sunday morning when an explosive-laden drone slammed into their barracks. Tragically, officials telling ABC News that initial reports indicate no one tried to shoot down the enemy drone, mistakenly believing it was a U.S. surveillance drone, one of their own. Late today, the Pentagon revealing the identities of those fallen soldiers, including 46-year-old Sergeant William Rivers, a 13-year veteran, 23-year-old specialist Brianna Moffett, whose mother says always lit up a room, and 24-year-old specialist Kennedy Sanders, described by relatives as having a big smile and a big heart. Today, President Biden convening an urgent meeting in the Situation Room with his national security team. On Sunday, blaming radical Iran-backed militants for the attack and vowing to respond.
We lost 3 brave souls in an attack on one of our bases, and we shall respond.
Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin speaking for the first time since his hospitalization, echoing the president's remarks.
The President and I will not tolerate attack on U.S. forces, and we will take all necessary actions to defend the U.S. and our troops.
But there have been at least 165 attacks on U.S. forces in the region, all of them blamed on Iran-backed militants. Although with the deaths of 3 soldiers, the White House making clear this attack fundamentally different as pressure grows to directly strike Iran.
We are not looking for a war with Iran. We are not seeking a conflict with the regime in a military way. We're not looking to escalate here. This attack over the weekend was escalatory. Make no mistake about it. And it requires a response. Make no mistake about that.
But a senior U.S. official telling me that President Biden has deep misgivings about striking Iran itself, fearing this conflict that is already spreading across the Middle East would further escalate.
Good reason to be concerned about that wider escalation. Martha Raddatz joins us now. And Martha, we know there's still a lot of unanswered questions about this attack. Any details emerging from the Pentagon?
Well, Lindsay, the response to this is not likely to be one big show of force against these militants. Secretary of State Antony Blinken saying it could be multi-leveled, come in stages, and be sustained over time. But they do believe this drone was launched from Syria, but they want to be positive, and once confirmed, the retaliatory strikes could begin whenever the Pentagon determines the timing is optimal. Lindsay?
Martha Raddatz from our nation's capital. Thanks so much, Martha. Destruction and an underground world of tunnels and pathways. We go with the Israeli Defense Forces for the 4th series of tunnels. Our Matt Gutman is on the ground for us tonight.
To drive into Gaza is to enter another planet, a landscape of ruins the mind struggles to comprehend. We were first taken into Gaza in early November. There we saw part of a tunnel in the heart of Gaza City at Al Rantisi Children's Hospital.
This is the hospital.
A couple of weeks later, the tunnels beneath Gaza's largest hospital, Al-Shifa. It was still warm then, and clouds of dust obscured the road. Now, 2 months later, it's mud that has taken over, but the roadsides are no less apocalyptic. The destruction and more than 26,000 deaths, according to Gaza's Hamas-run health ministry, have opened Israel up to allegations of war crimes, including the trial at the International Court of Justice for genocide. The IDF, which reviewed our footage for operational security, taking ABC into the embattled city of Han Yunis over the weekend. We climbed down from the armored vehicle. The soldiers are tense.
Pretty much everywhere you look around us, complete destruction.
And up the hill we climb, through the curtain, to a Palestinian home that now serves as a temporary headquarters for IDF commanders.
You can hear how much gunfire is still going on. Those are tanks outgoing, but there is still fighting here.
Brigadier General Dan Goldfuss briefs us.
Our enemy has dug himself underground very much. We have tens of miles or tens of kilometers, hundreds of kilometers under the ground that are dug up by the Hamas at in every area we go, in every neighborhood that we are, especially in places like schools, kindergartens, hospitals.
Outside, he takes us to this giant pit.
So we're about 15 feet into the sandy pit, and this is the entrance they found to this tunnel. You can feel the hot air belching out from in here, and they say that it leads into a complex of Hamas offices about half a mile in that direction. This is the 4th series of tunnels that I've been in so far, and each of them is a little bit different. The construction is a little different, but typically concrete above, below, cables and wires on the sides. Each of them inside is hot and damp. Even our camera is fogging up.
Just the week before, we were shown another tunnel in Han Yunis, 60 feet down, multiple flights of stairs, then that long corridor. Inside that vaulted room, there's bedding on the floor, diapers, and tubes for RPG warheads.
On this side right here is a canister that is used or was used to hold an RPG warhead.
Then farther down the corridor, something more sinister. The tunnel with General Goldfuss seems similar, but then deeper in, it opens to a fortified bunker.
Troops have found dozens of tunnels and bunkers like this one, offices to the side, concrete up above, steel beams here. But nearly 4 months into this war, and the IDF has not managed to reach Hamas's leaders or its hostages.
But in its hunt for the tunnels and Hamas leaders inside, the IDF has displaced nearly 2 million Palestinians, most of them forced into the area around Han Yunis. With Israeli tanks patrolling last week, this man, Ramzi Abu Zahlul, told our partner network ITV that he was trying to get to his family on the other side. You can see they're holding a white flag. Moments later, cameras capturing that gunfire. Abu Zahlul falls. He's been killed.
Yeah, that is.
We're investigating that
A
incident.
man holding a white flag,
Yes, I'm
unarmed, shot dead.
I'm investigating.
Those are
that.
your troops?
Yes, yes, those are my troops, and I'm investigating that incident. That is not the way we carry out our rules of engagement. No, we don't fire at people waving white flags. We don't fire at civilians.
But you do sometimes.
We don't. There are mistakes. It is war. It is war. This is not a machine working, and these are people.
Goldfuss says that for his troops, every day starts with the rules of engagement, rules which critics say Israel has violated.
Well, the problem that we have in Gaza is that pretty much everything and everyone has become a target, whether it's universities or hospitals or shelters for people or lines where people are getting their food and water. Everything has become a target. And I think what we heard at the International Court of Justice was that, this is prima facie a case of genocide if Israel goes on and continues in this way. So I think what we really need to see today is a real different approach by Israel and how it's conducting itself in Gaza.
And so when you see, as the other day, that the ICJ is asking Israel to prevent acts of genocide, how does that sit with you?
I urge them to come and see and understand what genocide is and to see that there is no genocide over here. And what I'm doing here is defending my state and my civilians to my orders.
We leave the tunnels emerging into the mud. Outside, the destruction and gun battles all around.
So you can hear some pretty significant machine gun fire. We don't know if anything is incoming, but you hear two different kinds of munitions. You hear explosions on the other side. The fighting here is still pretty active.
Goldfuss leads us up these berms, an area that until December was a cemetery that looked like this. But the general's troops have since dug these arena-sized basins in search of tunnel shafts.
What do you do with the bodies if you dig them up?
We don't dig the bodies out.
How do you know you haven't dug up bodies?
If we see the bodies, we'll put them aside. We'll move them aside.
I mean, are you concerned, given what just happened in the ICJ, that you're going to be accused of a war crime because you're digging up a cemetery?
I'm not digging out a cemetery. I'm digging out a military compound.
So what would you say to the families of the people who were buried here?
I'm very sorry about it. I'm very sorry about it. But this is a military compound. Your leaders, so-called leaders, Hamas, are using, your relatives are using you as a human shield. This is how you use a human shield on places that are sacred to us.
Negotiators have been making progress in recent days on a framework agreement between Israel and Hamas for a ceasefire in exchange for dozens of hostages held in Gaza. But senior Israeli officials tell us Israel's war plans anticipate fighting in some capacity until the end of the year.
Sounds like this could all be far from over. Matt Gutman joins us now from Israel. Matt, you mentioned those ceasefire talks are making progress. What's the latest? Any idea how close they are?
They're getting closer, Lindsay. We know that for the first time in over 2.5 months, Israel, Hamas, and the mediators, including Qatar and the U.S., are now openly acknowledging that there is progress in these talks. Those talks are now continuing in Paris. Now, the sticking points continue to be the duration of this pause. Israel wants it to be as short as possible. Hamas wants Israel to end the war, and, of course, the number of hostages released and when they're going to be released. But what is happening now is that clearly there is some engagement, and it seems likely that there is going to be some agreement at some point soon. When it's going to happen and the exact parameters, we don't quite know yet, Lindsay.
All right, Matt Gutman, so many anxiously awaiting to hear word. Our thanks to you. New details tonight of Israel's accusations that UN workers took part in the October 7th terrorist attack. Multiple sources confirmed to ABC News Israel sent a dossier to foreign capitals alleging at least 12 workers for the UN's largest aid agency in Gaza, the United Nations Relief and Works Agency, participated in Hamas's rampage. The 5-page intelligence report accuses some of the UN workers of kidnapping while placing others at the scene of massacres, and at least one moved weapons for Hamas. The UN has not denied the claims, but they say that they have fired those employees. Joining us now to discuss this is the executive director of UN Watch, Hillel Neuer. Hillel, thank you so much for joining us. UN Watch is a nonprofit organization dedicated to holding the United Nations accountable to its founding principles. Are you at all surprised by these findings?
Sadly, I'm not. For nearly 10 years, we have documented promotion of jihadi terrorism, hatred, and anti-Semitism among teachers, school principals, and other employees of this agency, UNRWA, UNRWA, the UN agency that's supposed to take care of social services for Palestinians in Gaza, the West Bank, Lebanon, and other places. And we have submitted it to the agency's representatives, submitted it to the United Nations, and for 10 years, Lindsay, they attacked us.
If they really are guilty of these accusations here, why would they simply be fired? Why wouldn't there be further action taken on them?
Well, look, we're getting conflicting approaches. On the one hand, the UNRWA leaders and the UN Secretary General say it's allegations, but they fired them, so which they didn't do in the past when we brought complaints about incitement of hatred and other crimes. So it seems that it's damage control. Look, more than a dozen countries, the leading supporters of this agency, who are their biggest defenders, the United States on Thursday said it's a trusted partner, UNRWA, and they're going to have a central role in post-war Gaza. The United States was the first to freeze funding. Canada, Germany, France, Sweden, countries that have never, ever defunded this agency, they've announced temporary freeze. Our concern is that this will be reinstated quickly. They want to make this go away.
And I want to drill down on a point that you just made, because you do have 10 countries who have suspended funding for the agency, which provides aid to 1.7 million Gazans, many caught up in the intense fighting near Khan Yunis. How can people be held accountable while at the same time making sure that those in need aren't used as collateral damage?
Well, the fact is that UNRWA is unable and unwilling to hold its own people accountable. We've seen that over years. They, at times, will just do a slap on the wrist. We cannot trust UNRWA to hold anyone accountable on this issue. They don't even have the powers of criminal prosecution. They said they'd be prosecuted. Who's going to prosecute them? In Gaza, the authority is Hamas. Are they going to hand them over to Israel? UNRWA would never do that. There are other UN agencies that can do it. UNRWA is infiltrated with Hamas, and it is just a failure. It needs to be abolished. They cannot be trusted to do it.
We know that you're headed to Congress tomorrow to present new evidence of what you call the poison of hate that has infected thousands within UNRWA. What are you hoping comes out of that meeting?
Look, we're going to present new evidence of a Telegram chat group with 3,000 UNRWA teachers called the UNRWA Telegram Teachers Chat Group. And in it, we found technical information about work schedules and salary payments for UNRWA teachers in Gaza, mixed with cheering and celebrations of the massacre of October 7th as it happened and afterwards. One UNRWA teacher said, who taught these shaheeds, these holy martyrs, to do this incredible stuff? Where did they get their incredible education? We need to replicate it. The fact is that, AOC and other politicians are saying it's just a few bad apples. It's not the whole agency. It's not a few bad apples. The poison goes right to the core.
And so what's the solution?
Well, we need to abolish UNRWA. It's a failure. Other UN agencies can do it. Bear in mind that by UNRWA, by the way, it's our taxes. The U.S. gave over $300 million last year. Palestinians are very capable people. We saw what they did with building the tunnels. Sadly, they used their resources for war. They need to use their resources for peace. The international community cannot rely on UNRWA. There are other alternatives that can do the job.
Executive Director of UN Watch, Hillel Neuer, we thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
ABC News has reached out to the UN for reaction to the UN Watch's claims that they had warned the organization for nearly 10 years, flagging that there were problems within the UNRWA organization. We have yet to hear back. And turning now to Alec Murdaugh being denied a new trial in court today in the murder of his wife and younger son, Paul. The convicted South Carolina attorney accused the court clerk of tampering with the jury, and his effort to get a new trial included bombshell testimony from the first juror to take the stand. ABC's Eva Pilgrim has the details.
Tonight, the state of South Carolina denying a new trial for convicted murderer Alec Murdaugh.
I agree that the evidence was overwhelming and the jury verdict not surprising.
But the late ruling coming after a dramatic day in court. Bombshell testimony about alleged jury tampering by court clerk Becky Hill. The jurors who convicted Murdaugh of murdering his wife and son today taking the witness stand.
What did Ms. Hill say?
To watch his actions.
Juror Z testifying that during the trial, the court clerk told her to watch Murdaugh closely, and at first testifying Hill's comments influenced her guilty vote.
To me, it felt like she made it seem like he was already guilty.
Did that affect your finding of guilty in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
But later saying she stood by her earlier testimony that it was other jurors that influenced her.
Guilty verdict.
It was Becky Hill who read the verdict, then 6 months later wrote a book about the trial. Today, Hill was grilled by Murdoch's team.
How much money did you make off that book?
I want to say roughly around 100,000.
Hill denied discussing the evidence with jurors.
Did you tell the jury not to be fooled by the evidence presented by Mr. Murdaugh's lawyers?
Mr. Harpootlian, I never talked to the jurors about any of the evidence.
But the judge slammed Hill in her ruling, saying she was not a completely credible witness.
Ms. Hill was attracted by the siren call of celebrity. She wanted to write a book about the trial and expressed that as early as November 2022, long before the trial began.
Eva Pilgrim joins us now. Eva, what was the final conclusion from the judge on the clerk's comments?
Lindsay, the judge ultimately decided that Hill's comments did not impact the verdict. Murdoch's team already vowing tonight to appeal. Lindsay.
All right, so this potentially not over yet. The saga continues. Eva Pilgrim, we know you'll be on it as always. Thanks so much. Next tonight, a bipartisan group of senators say they are close to a border deal. President Biden has promised he will sign it and use the authority to shut the border down. But House Republicans and former President Trump say the bill is dead on arrival. Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.
For months, Republicans have demanded a crackdown on illegal immigration. And tonight, President Biden says he'll give it to them, promising to shut down the border if Congress passes the bipartisan immigration deal on the table.
If that bill were the law today, I'd shut down the border right now and fix it quickly.
But Donald Trump, eager to make immigration a key issue in a likely rematch with Biden, is stepping up his pressure on Republicans to kill the compromise.
As the leader of our party, there is zero chance I will support this horrible open borders betrayal of America.
Even though Republicans have long been pushing for tough border legislation, today Trump posting on social media a border bill is not necessary. Listen to what the Republican senator leading the talks is now saying, angry at the thought his colleagues are ready to give up on something that had been their top priority.
Republicans 4 months ago would not give funding for Ukraine, for Israel, and for our southern border because we demanded changes in policy. So we actually locked arms together and said, we're not going to give you money for this. We want a change in law. And now it's interesting, a few months later, when we're finally getting to the end, they're like, oh, just kidding. I actually don't want a change in law because it's a presidential election year.
Quite a flip-flop there. Mary Bruce joins us now from the White House. Mary, some Republicans are clearly frustrated. Where do things stand at this point?
You can see that some Republicans are certainly exasperated that Donald Trump is now trying to derail his own party's top priority. But, Lindsay, others are following his lead. Over in the House, House Speaker Mike Johnson has said that any Senate compromise would be dead on arrival in the House. Instead, we see House Republicans are focusing on their effort to impeach Biden's Homeland Security Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas. Lindsay.
Mary Bruce for us. Thanks so much, Mary.
Thank you.
Tonight, chilling images of an alleged kidnapping attempt in Glendale, Arizona. Police say video shows an 11-year-old girl walking to school. You see her there. The suspect can then be seen getting out of his car and lunging at her. She runs away, catching up to her friends. Authorities say she told school officials, who then alerted police. Police arrested the suspect, who they say lived near the victim. He's charged with attempted kidnapping. Now to dramatic new testimony and evidence in the trial of a Michigan mother charged with involuntary manslaughter in the deadly school shooting carried out by her son, Ethan Crumbley. Jurors were shown video of Ethan Crumbley's parents confronting him in the police interview room after he killed 4 students at a Michigan high school. And we also heard from a school guidance counselor who says the Crumbleys refused his suggestion to get Ethan help just hours before the teen opened fire. Here's ABC's Trevor All.
Tonight, inside the police interview room with Jennifer and James Crumbley, confronting their son in the hours after he opened fire at his high school.
Why? I love you. I love you.
Jennifer Crumbley shouting why, then breaking down before leaving the station. Prosecutors argued the tapes show her appearing calm and unaffected, hearing her son was the shooter, scrolling through her phone. The shooter's mother, now on trial for involuntary manslaughter, heard telling investigators, and
I really wish we would have taken your mom.
The parents had been called to Oxford High School that morning by counselor Sean Hopkins, who today testified he was concerned the shooter was thinking about suicide after seeing those disturbing drawings on his math worksheet. But Hopkins says to his surprise, the Crumbly parents didn't take their son out of school to get help that day.
It felt like it was a little bit of an inconvenience to be there.
He claims when Jennifer Crumbly entered his office, she felt distant, didn't hug her son, and abruptly ended the 12-minute meeting asking, "Are we done?" But an independent report on the shooting found Hopkins did not alert the school principal of his concerns, which should have prompted a search of the shooter's backpack, where he was carrying the 9mm handgun his parents had purchased for him. Jennifer Crumbly's attorney arguing even the trained counselor didn't recognize her son as a danger to his classmates.
If I believed that he was a threat to people, I would have taken different actions.
Our thanks to Trevor Auld. And still much more to get to here on Prime tonight. The experience of wedding dress shopping was derailed for one bride after being told her undergarments would cost more in order to match her skin. But next, accused murderers, alleged sex offenders, and even one of the FBI's most wanted. We ride along with a group of Mexico law enforcement hunters in charge of bringing these criminals to justice.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine, reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines from southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is. We're going to take you there.
You're streaming.
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
They're a unit tasked with capturing some of America's most dangerous fugitives who are hiding out in Mexico, bringing in accused murderers, alleged sex offenders, even one of the FBI's most wanted. Our Matt Rivers embedded with the group reluctantly known as the Gringo Hunters.
So we're in the city of Mexicali, which is just across the border from Southern California. And because this city is so close to the U.S., there are some U.S. criminal suspects that think they can evade law enforcement by coming down here to Mexico to hide.
Aquí en México, pues todos son bienvenidos. Pero México no es para esconderse.
It's an old Hollywood story. Criminals believe they can outrun the law, escape their charges by fleeing to Mexico.
Some of them end up getting surprised when they're met by a specialized group of police here in the state of Baja California that have been nicknamed the Gringo Hunters. Officially, this is the International Liaison Unit, a small team of state police in Baja California, the northwesternmost region of Mexico. Unofficially, they've been called the Gringo Hunters. To be clear, they don't love the nickname, but it does fit.
because their mission is to find and detain foreign fugitives, mostly Americans, who cross the border into Mexico, hoping to escape the U.S. legal system.
Tell us about these guys. I mean, what's their day-to-day like?
So the Mexican government has well-trained assets in fugitive apprehension, just like we do here in the United States. And we work with their government on these kind of issues with people fleeing to their country.
Llevo 20 años de servicio en agencia. ¿Qué hacen diariamente? Tell me, paint me a picture of who you guys are, what you do on a day-to-day basis.
Unos 14 elementos, tenemos 3 grupos. Uno está en Mexicali, tenemos un grupo en Tijuana y tenemos un pequeño grupo en Ensenada también. Digamos que nuestro espectro nos dedicamos más a los casos de delitos de alto impacto, ¿no? Al homicida, a los que son por secuestro, asalto violento, narcotráfico, pero sobre todo los ofensores sexuales, ¿no?
This is the leader of the unit. We'll call him Jefe in our story. Cases come from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the U.S. Marshals. Many of the people they track down haven't been convicted yet. Formed in 2002, the group has had some success. They say they catch an average of 10 fugitives per month, sometimes more.
Sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss, and so now they say they're going to continue with this search.
We embedded with the unit for about a week, and we got just a taste of how much work it can take to make an arrest.
Why can't U.S. authorities just come here to Mexico and look for these suspects themselves?
Porque entramos en cuestiones de jurisdicción. Igual se miraría si nosotros nos cruzamos a Estados Unidos a hacer investigaciones, obviamente lo van a ver mal y posiblemente hasta arrestados salgamos, ¿no?
Ok, ahorita vamos a coordinarnos para trabajar el asunto llegó un asunto de homicidio. Lo pasaron el martes.
This is the officer who's in charge of today's mission. We'll call her Rosa. She's briefing her team about a man suspected of murder in Orange County, California.
Con él se llama David Moreno, tiene 39 años. Y les voy a mostrar los tatuajes que él tiene para que lo podamos ubicar.
Rosa shows the team photos of their target, David Moreno, with extra focus on his many distinctive tattoos.
Capistrano.
The suspect is charged with killing 36-year-old Griselda Pineda Reta, a mother of 4, as reported by local media.
Orange County Sheriff's deputies discovered the body of 36-year-old Griselda Pineda Reta.
This is how Griselda Pineda Reta's family will remember her, a loving mother dancing with her son.
Hay que mantener la seguridad porque puede que esté armado y tiene bastantes antecedentes, bastante récord por armas, por droga y hay que estar bien pendientes de la seguridad. Vamos a ver qué surge con esto.
The Gringo hunters have been tracking Moreno for the past week. His hideout in the 3rd of October neighborhood is built into a hillside with winding roads, making it tough for police to see around corners. They need to get in and get out fast.
Entonces, ya una vez que se visualice el objetivo y confirmemos que es él, lo más prudente sería intervenirlo fuera del domicilio, puede que esté armado. Pues a ver, somos más nosotros. Preparados.
On the way to David Moreno's address, an unexpected sighting.
Aguanta.
David Moreno himself.
No, sí, es él, güey.
But the officers drive away. They don't want to let the suspect know that a team of police is swarming the neighborhood.
Objetivo a la vista. Viene caminando sobre la calle Joyita.
The officers who spotted Moreno let their boss Rosa pass in a white pickup truck so she can try and make the arrest.
Aguanta, güey. Simón. Dale espacito tú, güey. No te pegues mucho. Porque vas a ver y va a correr en vergüenza.
Párate ahí.
Va a querer correr.
Una revisión, por favor. Aquí.
Déjame tus mochilas a la mochila, manos a la vista.
No te muevas, viejo. Las manos atrás, manos atrás, manos atrás.
The suspect looks like the man they're looking for, but the name he offers is not David Moreno.
Una identificación. ¿Cuál es tu nombre?
No te muevas.
The officers pull up his shirt and reveal a tattoo on the suspect's stomach, the very same one from the pictures the officers studied before they left.
Es un sospechoso peligroso. He's a dangerous suspect.
Sí, eso es un sospechoso. Por todos pasa, me imagino, que tienen unos 3 segundos de poder escapar, ¿no? Entonces, por él pasó, pero voltea para acá y voltea para acá, se miró rodeado y no tuvo más que ceder al arresto. Y ya fue cuando llegó.
Y eso fue la reacción de David. That was his reaction. Yo no puedo escapar. I can't escape.
Our thanks to Matt Rivers for that. Still much more to get to here on Prime tonight. Coming up, the OG Mexican band making history as they head to Sin City. But next, we take a look at the San Francisco versus Kansas City NFL matchup by the numbers.
With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital.
Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along
I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it. Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
We're in the city of Mexicali. There are some U.S. criminal suspects that think they can evade law enforcement by coming down here to Mexico to hide.
Running from the law.
Some of them end up getting surprised when they're met by a specialized group of police nicknamed the Gringo Hunters. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss.
Las manos atrás, manos atrás.
The unit has even caught some that are on the FBI's most wanted list.
The Gringo Hunters. This is Impact by Nightline, now streaming on Hulu. Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey, I'm David Muir. Wherever the story, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. It is official. We are headed for a 2020 rematch. And no, we're not talking about the presidential election. We are talking some serious football, folks. The San Francisco 49ers get another chance to best the Kansas City Chiefs at the Super Bowl. Here's a look at the matchup by the numbers. The Chiefs have 3 Super Bowl wins under their belt. 2 of those wins came the last few years, 2020 and 2023. That makes them the reigning champions. The 49ers have won 5 Super Bowls, but they lost their most recent Super Bowl in 2020 against the Chiefs. For the first time, the game is being held in Las Vegas. And speaking of Vegas, sportsbooks currently have the 49ers as a favorite by as many as 2 points. But for some, as important as the game score is who will attend, namely Taylor Swift. Will she make the 13-hour flight from her Tokyo concert the night before to watch her boyfriend, Kansas City tight end Travis Kelce, in a big game? Speaking of flights, American and United Airlines have added 13 flights between Kansas City and Las Vegas for game weekend. Special flight numbers include 1989, Swift's birth year and album name, and 87, Kelce's jersey number. And we have one more stat for you, and it's a big one, $6,059. That, my friends, is the starting price for game tickets online. And we still have much more ahead here on Prime, including a wild rescue literally out of Indiana. Nikolai Castor-Waldau joins us to discuss his new series that will hopefully make you feel a little better about the state of our planet.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland, from Poland once again tonight. Thank you so much for streaming with us. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. Do you think you'll ever be able to go back home? We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City. Splintered houses and splintered lives. The magnitude of the devastation. You're streaming ABC News Live. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Santa Fe, New Mexico, Raleigh, North Carolina, the U.S. Capitol, Mayfield, Kentucky, Minneapolis, Mexico, Tongass National Forest, Alaska.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen, giving you a front row seat to our world as it plays out in real time, live.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights, America's most honored streaming news program, only on ABC News Live. Streaming free right now wherever you stream your news.
First thing in the morning.
There's a lot going on.
Yet another avalanche warning that's up.
To catch you up with what happened overnight. A dangerous ice storm is impacting the morning commute.
What's happening today? Escalating tensions in the Middle East.
What people are talking about. The migrant crisis.
Fast, straightforward.
With some fun in between.
How does billionaire sound?
Sounds good to me. The moose started chasing a dog.
First thing in the morning.
America This Morning.
America's #1 early morning news.
On ABC News Live.
This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
Here along I-5.
Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas, Edinburgh, Scotland. Reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi, Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Get ready, America, every Friday.
The hottest trends, styles, and must-have. What's the right stuff to buy right now? I really love that. It's time to buy the right stuff.
Yes!
And save big time, too.
The right stuff.
Fridays on GMA. You're gonna love it.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start Here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Zoo animals take Indiana officials on a wild ride. Man's best friend finds a missing girl, and those bookies head to Las Vegas for a history-making residency. These stories and much more in tonight's Rundown.
Indiana officials rescuing circus animals from a burning vehicle on the side of a highway. The Grant County Sheriff's Office saying the semi-truck found in flames on the side of I-69 with animals inside from the Shrine Circus. Investigators saying an equipment failure caused the fire. Crews managed to rescue 5 zebras, 4 camels, and a miniature horse. 2 members of the Sheriff's Office treated for smoke inhalation. All the animals uninjured. Doctors have released 2 royals from the hospital after their scheduled procedures. First, the Princess of Wales, Kate Middleton, discharged after undergoing abdominal surgery. She was in the hospital for 2 weeks. The palace saying she's expected to take 2 to 3 months to recover at home. Also today, a hospital discharging King Charles after his own surgery for an enlarged prostate. The palace saying he'll return to public engagements after a short period of recuperation.
Former IRS consultant Charles Littlejohn admitted in court that he accessed and released the tax returns of more than 1,000 wealthy Americans, including former President Trump. But in a deal with federal prosecutors, he pleaded guilty to just a single count of illegally disclosing tax information. Judge Ana Reyes, a Biden appointee, told Littlejohn that he engaged in an attack on democracy, and she imposed the maximum sentence for the single count, 5 years in prison and a $5,000 fine.
A long-running dispute from the Beijing Olympics came to an end when the Court of Arbitration for Sport upheld the disqualification of Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva. She had tested positive for a banned substance. The disqualification means that the U.S. is set to be elevated to the gold medal in the team figure skating event. Valieva, who was 15 at the time, is banned through next December, just before the start of the 2026 Winter Games.
Do you like dogs? Can she give you a kiss?
A canine received credit for finding a missing 11-year-old girl in Florida. The Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office was directed to an apartment complex in the search for the missing and endangered girl on Friday. The canine, Mary Lou, brought deputies to a locked bathroom in a park in that area. Officials found the girl was inside and convinced her to unlock the door and come out. The sheriff's office said the girl was safe and uninjured.
Los Bukis will become the first Latino in all Spanish language residency when they begin their run at Dolby Live at Park MGM. The historic residency following a record-breaking 2021 for the Mexican band that had the biggest Latin tour and second biggest tour worldwide that year. The tour came as the group reunited for the first time in 25 years. The Vegas residency will launch May 3rd.
Elon Musk says that the first human patient has received a brain chip from his startup Neuralink. In a post on X, Musk said on Sunday the first person to receive the implant from the brain chip startup went well. They are now recovering. He says the chip enables control of your phone or computer simply by thinking. Initial users will be those who have lost their use of limbs. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration gave the company clearance last year to conduct its first trial to test its implant on humans. When it comes to weddings, many want to get every detail just right, especially the dress. But one bride says that she was told she'd be charged extra just to make sure the undergarments for her gown matched her skin color. ABC's Rena Roy has the details.
Saying yes to the dress is usually a fairy tale moment for future brides.
I tried it on, and it was the first time I almost felt like I could have cried. It was beautiful. It was stunning.
But Tessa Took says that magical experience took an unexpected turn for her when she was told the brown undergarment option that matched her skin tone would be $200 extra instead of the beige and white versions that were free of charge.
It was incredibly isolating and embarrassing, and it definitely took me back to my childhood of being like a dancer and having to dye my own tights and ballet shoes.
Tukes got engaged to her fiancé, Joey Kirshner, on season 2 of Bachelor in Paradise, Canada.
You want to go to the disco with me?
Let's go, baby.
Joey outraged when he heard about his fiance's experience in the Canadian bridal boutique, taking to TikTok.
So you're telling me that it's free to be white, but if my bride has a different skin tone than white, she has to pay extra money?
That video now viewed nearly 4 million times.
I was just livid and needed to vent about my emotions and thought that everyone should know and hear about this.
Fellow brides sharing their experience and offering support. This woman saying, I had to scrap my whole wedding dress because the upcharge was $1,200. Since the story went viral, brands and bridal designers reaching out, some even offering to make her a dress.
Now I'm kind of just embracing a fresh start. I'm really looking for a dress that holistically represents my values and how I would like to be treated as a bride.
The couple now hoping Tessa's experience sparks change.
This is not an uncommon experience for people with darker skin. It really does expand well beyond brides.
A lot of implications there. Our thanks to Rena for that. While the Kelce brothers get a lot of attention on the football field, Kylie Kelce has also become a favorite among fans. Married to Jason Kelce, she's known for her relatability and level-headedness in the middle of her family's growing fame. ABC's Lori Bergamato talked to the mother of 3 about her newfound life in the limelight.
The world saw Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce and his Kansas City Chiefs celebrating on the field after the AFC win. His brother Jason and wife Kylie Kelce, of course, cheering him on too.
The talented center for the Eagles has made a name for himself on
Great job, Jason Kelce. Run him out of the building.
And off the field.
If you don't run for president, this all is just going to go to waste.
While his wife, Kylie, a high school field hockey coach and mother of 3, has found herself in the spotlight as well.
Do you feel like each year it's like this new stratosphere of attention on you guys with just the way that the last 2 years have played out?
I almost feel a little guilty that people are so interested and invested in what I'm doing, and I'm like, I am trying to scrape applesauce off the couch. You don't, this is not that fascinating. So it's funny to me. I deeply appreciate the support.
One moment football fans really connected with, Jason's viral celebration after brother Travis's touchdown during the Chiefs' divisional playoff game against the Bills.
It sounds like, in the end.
Yes.
He ultimately did put his shirt back on.
I mean, he put his shirt back on to leave the stadium, yes.
And as the sports world anxiously waits to see if Jason will return to the Eagles for another season, Kylie says she'll stand behind whatever decision he makes.
I think that whatever he does, he's going to be successful in. And I'm not just saying that because I'm his wife. I think that it's his personality.
Field hockey, we like a challenge. We want to use only one side of our stick.
Kylie keeping herself busy, running field hockey clinics and coaching her own team. Now, partnering with Dove and their self-esteem project for young female athletes ahead of the Super Bowl.
What do you tell your own girls about body confidence?
I am now hyper aware of how I talk about myself and my body, not only in front of my daughters, but in front of my players. I think it's important to model that positive body talk about yourself, because then they're taking that away from what you're doing.
Our thanks to Lori for that. Time now for the latest in our series Streamlined, where we bring you some of the biggest films and TV series hitting screens worldwide. Speaking with some of the actors and creators behind them, it seems like virtually every day we hear a startling new report on the state of our planet. The United Nations warning, quote, humanity is on thin ice. But the new series, An Optimist's Guide to the Planet, is holding on to hope, taking viewers around the world to meet the activists and scientists working to create solutions for our toughest problems. Let's take a look.
I believe when history is written and we look back at this moment in time, this will be when we started to transform the way we live to inform the future we want.
And joining us now is the show's host, Nikolai Castor-Waldau. Thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
So one thing that immediately got my attention was watching the show over the weekend was you said you were thinking between being a journalist or an actor. So did this check the box a little bit of being a journalist?
It did. It did. And yeah, that was my dream. And I think it's also connected in a way because there's an interest. I like human beings. I find us fascinating and trying to understand why we act the way we do and then the contradictions we all carry within. But also because I do believe that there's reason to be optimistic. Listen, the challenges we face are insane, but we have one resource that is more valuable than anything else, and that's us. We have to course correct. And I'm not trying to, and I'm being an optimist, not because I just like to be an optimist, but I do think traveling the world with this show and meeting these people all over the world doing incredible work and just, you watch every episode, there'll be moments where it just blows your mind. Mm-hmm. And it does give you hope because we have the solutions. We just have to implement them.
And when you say you travel the world, you really did go to almost all 7 continents. Yeah. How did your perspective personally change about the peril that our planet faces?
Well, I think that I'm not trying to diminish the challenges because they are real and we have to keep talking about them. But what I also want to address is the way we talk about them. Like the fear, always using fear as a motivator. I don't think that's good. I don't think it's good that 50% of 18 to 25-year-olds in our part of the world don't believe in the future, don't have hope for the future. Because if you don't believe in it, why then act?
Right.
And I think that obviously it's complex. There's not going to be one magic pill that solves it. It's going to be so many things. But traveling this world and meeting all these people, as you said, on 5 different continents, I was struck with, first of all, how much we have in common and how much everybody wanted the same thing. I didn't meet anyone who was like, no, you know what? We'd like to destroy our planet. We're not that. I mean, everybody wants the same thing. It's how do we get there?
Let's talk about the human minds that have really risen to the occasion. I mean, some of this innovation was mind-blowing. Yeah. For example, one that I really was just in awe by was the man-made clouds.
I know.
And I'm wondering if there was one in particular that struck you in a similar way.
Oh, there was many. One was, went to Madrid and met a lady called Federica, biochemist. In her spare time, she was a beekeeper. One day, she had to clean her beehive, and there was these worms. She put them in a plastic bag, put it aside. Next day, she comes back, she picks up the plastic bag, and she looks at it, and you go, hang on a second, there's holes everywhere. And she goes, interesting. I wonder if did they just bite their way out, eat their way out, or is something else afoot? And she discovered these enzymes in the saliva of these worms that breaks down plastic, which is incredible. Nature already had the solution.
After talking with so many researchers, scientists, what is the one piece of advice that you would say to our viewers now that they can start doing to be a part of the solution?
Well, I think, like my mom always used to say to me, just use your common sense. And I do think that so many of these things we already know. We just have to just do a little better. And then I also think it's important that we stop pointing fingers at each other.
Nikolai, such a pleasure to talk with
you.
So the
much.
show is really good, and want our viewers to know that you can catch an Optimist Guide to the Planet February 8th on the Bloomberg app, Bloomberg.com, and airing on Bloomberg TV. And that is our show for this hour. I'm Lindsay Davis. Be sure to stay tuned to ABC News Live for more context and analysis of the day's top stories. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Coming up in the next hour, a damning report alleging at least 13 workers from a major aid agency in Gaza participated in Hamas's October 7th rampage, some even infiltrating Israel. The properties of a former president raided after accusations he illegally spied on political rivals. We'll tell you where.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories. Start Here.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Make it your daily first listen, wherever you get your podcasts. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
It's lunchtime in America, so what are we serving up?
Well, how about everything you need to know?
You know, that sounds pretty good.
Give it to me. Your health, your money, breaking news, pop culture, with the biggest stars, music, trends, and of course, good food. GMA 3, what you need to know. A third hour of GMA in the afternoon.
So join us, afternoons.
For everything you need to know. I love that. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers.
In Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital. Destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye.
Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
We're in the city of Mexicali. There are some U.S. criminal suspects that think they can evade law enforcement by coming down here to Mexico to hide. Some of them end up getting surprised when they're met by a specialized group of police nicknamed the Gringo Hunters. Sometimes they hit, sometimes they miss. The unit has even caught some that are on the FBI's most wanted list.
The Gringo Hunters. This is Impact by Nightline, now streaming on Hulu.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it.
Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you? Yes.
So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do? Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Whenever, wherever news breaks, it's so important to always remember that lives are changed.
Here in London, in Buffalo, Uvalde, Texas,
Edinburgh, Scotland.
reporting from Rolling Fork, Mississippi. Ukrainian refugees here in Warsaw. We're heading to a small community outside of Mexico City.
Getting you behind the stories as they happen.
ABC News Live Prime. We'll take you there.
Stream ABC News Live weeknights wherever you stream your news. Only on ABC News Live.
Reporting from Monterey Park, California, I'm Robin Roberts. Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Good evening, everyone. This is ABC News Live Prime. I'm Lindsay Davis. Thank you so much for streaming with us. We have a lot of news to get to this evening, including denied why a judge says convicted killer Alec Murdaugh will not get a new trial. Plus, he's stumping this election season, but not for himself. ABC News is one-on-one with California Governor Gavin Newsom. And European farmers protesting the call to the government as their businesses suffer. But we do begin with that deadly attack on a U.S. military outpost in Jordan. The Pentagon has identified the 3 American service members killed in the attack on a logistics support base, all of them from the same reserve unit based in Georgia. President Biden has vowed to hold those responsible to account, quote, at a time and in a manner of our choosing. He met with his national security team in the Situation Room today, and we're learning more about how the enemy drone eluded defenses. It's a case of apparent mistaken identity that threatens to further inflame tensions in the region. Tonight, some Republicans are calling for the U.S. to attack inside Iran, and the Pentagon is now drawing up options to offer the president. ABC's chief global affairs anchor Martha Raddatz leads us off.
Tonight, new details on that brazen drone attack that killed 3 American soldiers and wounded more than 40 others at Tower 22, a remote U.S. base in the Jordanian desert. The Pentagon saying those soldiers, many Army reservists from an engineering unit, were asleep in their beds early Sunday morning when an explosive-laden drone slammed into their barracks. Tragically, officials telling ABC News that initial reports indicate no one tried to shoot down the enemy drone, mistakenly believing it was a U.S. surveillance drone, one of their own. Late today, the Pentagon revealing the identities of those fallen soldiers, including 46-year-old Sergeant William Rivers, a 13-year veteran, 23-year-old specialist Breonna Moffett, whose mother says always lit up a room, and 24-year-old specialist Kennedy Sanders, described by relatives as having a big smile and a big heart. Today, President Biden convening an urgent meeting in the Situation Room with his national security team. On Sunday, blaming radical Iran-backed militants for the attack and vowing to respond.
We lost 3 brave souls in an attack on one of our bases, and we shall respond.
Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin speaking for the first time since his hospitalization, echoing the president's remarks.
The President and I will not tolerate attack on U.S. forces, and we will take all necessary actions to defend the U.S. and our troops.
But there have been at least 165 attacks on U.S. forces in the region, all of them blamed on Iran-backed militants. Although with the deaths of 3 soldiers, the White House making clear this attack fundamentally different as pressure grows to directly strike Iran.
We are not looking for a war with Iran. We are not seeking a conflict with the regime in a military way. We're not looking to escalate here. This attack over the weekend was escalatory. Make no mistake about it. And it requires a response. Make no mistake about that.
But a senior U.S. official telling me that President Biden has deep misgivings about striking Iran itself, fearing this conflict that is already spreading across the Middle East would further escalate.
Our thanks to Martha for that. Tonight, multiple sources tell ABC News Israel has shared its intelligence claiming at least 13 UN aid workers actually took part in the Hamas attack on Israel on October 7th. Some of those UN aid workers accused of kidnapping Israelis. Matt Gutman has more.
Tonight, multiple sources confirming to ABC News Israel sent a dossier to foreign capitals alleging that at least 13 workers for the UN's largest aid agency in Gaza participated in Hamas's October 7th rampage. The 5-page intelligence report accuses 4 of the UN workers of kidnapping, 6 of infiltrating Israel, and 1 of establishing an ops room for Hamas. The UN has not denied the claims, saying it has fired the employees. Over the past week, the most intense fighting around Khan Yunis.
So you can hear some pretty significant machine gun fire. We don't know if anything is incoming, but you hear 2 different kinds of munitions. You hear explosions on the other side. The fighting here is still pretty active.
Razmi Abu Sahlul, seen here holding a white flag in this video from our partner network, ITV. Shots are fired. Abu Sahlul goes down. He was killed. Over the weekend, the IDF, which checked our footage for operational security, taking us into Khan Yunis and into the tunnels they say were used as a Hamas command post. I asked Israel's commanding general in southern Gaza about that incident.
Those are your troops? Yes, those are my troops, and I'm investigating that incident. That is not the way we carry out our rules of engagement. No, we don't fire at people waving white flags. We don't fire at civilians.
But you do sometimes.
We don't. There are mistakes. It is war. It is war. This is not a machine working, and these are people.
The general then showing us these massive mud basins, a cemetery the IDF said it had largely bulldozed to find a tunnel shaft.
How do you know you haven't dug up bodies?
If we see the bodies, we'll put them aside. We'll move them aside.
I mean, are you concerned, given what just happened in the ICJ, that you're going to be accused of a war crime because you're digging up a cemetery?
I'm not digging out a cemetery. I'm digging out a military compound.
Our thanks to Matt Gutman. A South Carolina judge has denied Alec Murdaugh's bid for a new double murder trial after hearing allegations that jury tampering influenced the guilty verdict. The judge said the 12 jurors who testified all said no comments directly influenced their decision to find Murdaugh guilty. The judge could not overturn the verdict based on the strength of some fleeting and foolish comments by a publicity-seeking clerk of court. end quote, because they did not actively change the jurors' minds. Dramatic new testimony and evidence in the trial of a Michigan mother charged with involuntary manslaughter in the deadly school shooting carried out by her son, Ethan Crumbley. Jurors were shown video of the shooter's parents confronting him in the police interrogation room after he killed 4 students at a Michigan high school. The school's guidance counselor said the Crumbleys refused his suggestion to get Ethan help, which happened just hours before the teen opened fire. Next tonight, a bipartisan group of senators say they're close to a border deal. President Biden has promised he will sign it and use the authority to shut the border down. But House Republicans and former President Trump say the bill is, quote, dead on arrival. Here's ABC's chief White House correspondent, Mary Bruce.
For months, Republicans have demanded a crackdown on illegal immigration. And tonight, President Biden says he'll give it to them, promising to shut down the border if Congress passes the bipartisan immigration deal on the table.
If that bill were the law today, I'd shut down the border right now and fix it quickly.
But Donald Trump, eager to make immigration a key issue in a likely rematch with Biden, is stepping up his pressure on Republicans to kill the compromise.
As the leader of our party, there is zero chance I will support this horrible open borders betrayal of America.
Even though Republicans have long been pushing for tough border legislation, today Trump posting on social media a border bill is not necessary. Listen to what the Republican senator leading the talks is now saying, angry at the thought his colleagues are ready to give up on something that had been their top priority.
Republicans 4 months ago would not give funding for Ukraine, for Israel, and for our southern border because we demanded changes in policy. So we actually locked arms together and said, we're not going to give you money for this. We want a change in law. And now it's interesting, a few months later, when we're finally getting to the end, they're like, oh, just kidding. I actually don't want a change in law because it's a presidential election year.
Quite a reversal there, thanks to Mary Bruce. A judge has sentenced the thief who stole the iconic ruby slippers used in The Wizard of Oz. Terry Martin is receiving time served and 1-year probation. He confessed to stealing the slippers from the Judy Garland Museum in Grand Rapids, Minnesota back in 2005. They were recovered in 2018. Martin, who's now in hospice care, says he wanted, quote, one last score and mistakenly believed the slippers were made of real rubies. There are possible new clues to one of the greatest unsolved mysteries in American history, the disappearance of Amelia Earhart. She and her navigator vanished without a trace while trying to fly around the world back in 1937. An ocean exploration company, Deep Sea Vision, says sonar images have detected an object resembling her plane about 100 miles off Howland Island, halfway between Australia and Hawaii. They were supposed to refuel there, but never made it. The company plans to explore the site later this year. And we still have much more to get to here on Prime tonight. Coming up, California's governor is on the campaign trail, stumping for the president. The consequences, he says, the U.S. will see if Trump is reelected. But next, highways are blocked in and out of Paris. The government policies, farmers are protesting.
Whenever news breaks,
we are here in Israel, a nation at war after that brutal surprise attack by Hamas.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Reporting from Lewiston, Maine.
The scene of a horrific mass shooting.
ABC News Live is right there everywhere.
From the scene of that deadly missile strike in Dnipro, Ukraine.
Reporting from the earthquake in Turkey.
In Rolling Fork, this tornado tore through this little town.
From the most devastating disaster in Hawaii.
From Charleston, South Carolina, on the 2024 campaign trail.
In Iceland, let's go.
Traveling with the president in Mexico City.
Wherever the story.
From the front lines. From southern Israel.
Outside the Gaza Strip.
In Beirut.
From the FBI.
Reporting from the nurses on the picket line.
Here at 10 Downing Street in London.
Streaming live to you.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is.
Wherever the story is, we're going to take you there.
You're streaming
ABC News Live.
ABC News Live.
You're streaming ABC News Live.
ABC News Live. Streaming free everywhere. America's #1 streaming news.
Everything is so fine, little bit of sunshine. Some more, just a little bit. Breathe more, just a little bit. Smile a little more in a minute. I've been running through the strange life. Pictures on my phone life. Everything is so fine, little bit of sunshine.
Good morning, America.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it. Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
Reporting from the Iowa caucuses, I'm Wade Johnson. Wherever the story is, we'll take you there. You're streaming ABC News Live.
Welcome back, everyone. We're tracking several headlines around the world. European farmers are calling for their governments to do more to help them weather inflation and compete with inexpensive imports. French farmers blocked highways leading in and out of Paris today. And in Belgium, farmers are taking their grievances straight to the EU, rallying their tractors just 3 blocks from EU headquarters in Brussels. Police in Brazil raided a number of properties linked to one of former President Jair Bolsonaro's sons. The search is part of an investigation into allegations that the Brazilian intelligence service illegally spied on Bolsonaro's political enemies while he was in office. His son Carlos often attacked his father's critics on social media. He's also been accused of spreading fake news. Neither Carlos Bolsonaro nor his father have commented on this latest raid. And a Hong Kong court has ordered China Evergrande to undergo liquidation. The order comes after the world's most heavily indebted real estate developer failed to restructure the $300 billion it owed to banks and bondholders. The company is among dozens of Chinese developers that have collapsed since 2020 under government pressure to rein in surging debt. California's governor has been on the campaign trail, not stumping for himself, but for President Biden, warning that the consequences of a Trump re-election would be, quote, profound and pronounced. This week, co-anchor Jonathan Karl sat down with Governor Gavin Newsom.
Michelle Obama, as I'm sure you saw, said that people should be terrified about what could possibly happen with the outcome of this election. Is she right to be terrified?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all should be. I mean, what more evidence do you need? I mean, here's a guy who lost the election, Trump, and tried to wreck the country. He's lighting democracy on fire. He's making democracy a partisan issue. Never imagined that in my lifetime. So the consequences are profound and pronounced, and that's why I'm down here, because this race is started, and we need to lift up the issues, the successes, this extraordinary successes of the last 3 years, the Biden-Harris administration, and then we drive contrast. It's not even a complicated campaign. We have the receipts. We have the best 3-year record of any modern American presidency. Period, full stop. And you look at the issue by issue, they poll overwhelmingly. American people support what Biden has done.
Except for the big thing, approval.
Yeah.
Biden's approval is historically low. Why is that?
Everybody's approval across the spectrum. You find exceptions to that. Look, it's been hard globally the last 6-7 years. But again, America stands tall. We're the tentpole of the world economy. No peers economically. Again, a masterclass of delivering. The economy is booming, inflation is cooling, and of course the economic strategies this president's put together were all things Republicans dreamt of, but never delivered. He's delivered.
Obviously, the border is an issue. But let me ask you just a fundamental question, try to get beyond the politics for a second. You've had 6 million apprehensions at the border. What ultimately should happen to all those people? And the people that don't qualify for asylum, who totally came in illegally? I mean, should there be deportations? This is what Republicans are calling for, these mass roundups and deportations. But what happens?
Well, I think you have to deal with the cards that are dealt. You got to deal with the reality on the ground, and you have to have a comprehensive conversation around this across the spectrum, the push and the pull. And that's around the fundamental issue of immigration reform. It's not just border security. The president put out a comprehensive strategy, a pathway to citizenship along the lines of their former hero, Ronald Reagan, to address the reality on the ground. We have a plan, $14 billion plan right now, to get more judges, to process people more efficiently, more quickly, provide security down at the border, 2,300 new border agents. That's what the President of the United States has put up in front of Congress, and they refuse to act. They're just promoting an agenda to disrupt and find a crowbar to put in the spokes of the wheels of the Biden administration to disrupt any progress on this because they don't want progress, period.
But let me ask you about Trump's legal problems. Obviously 4 indictments, 91 counts, includes taking classified documents out of the White House, undermining democracy, all of that. And he's out there saying he should have absolute immunity. A president should be above the law. All this. So why, in light of all of that, why have we seen poll after poll, and I know it's early, but still, poll after poll that shows Trump either beating Biden or essentially tied with him.
Yeah, but you also seen poll after poll. I'm not naive about this. I take the threat of Trump and Trumpism very seriously. I've never been on the other side of that argument. That said, this is the weakest candidate to run a major party in my lifetime. He's coming in deeply damaged. Democrats, we win, we keep winning. We've won all of these elections. Post-Dobbs, different one, but hold on.
But here's my question even more relevant. Why is Biden not beating him?
Look at the polling.
Yeah.
Look underneath the hood on the polling. Look at the New Hampshire polls. Look at some of the national polls. Republicans say if he's convicted, all those things you said are true, and he's convicted, and the likelihood of conviction is what, 98% on
by
one of the
election
counts?
day? You think
we'll see. But I mean,
by election day?
Well, we'll see. But I mean, at least in one of those four, right, of the 91 charges, one of those four. Vast majority, I mean, a substantial plurality of Republicans now, or at least a large percentage, say no go. I think that's a huge red flag for Donald Trump. He is weak. He is more unhinged than he's ever been. He's less disciplined than he's ever been. He's less interesting. I find him just less interesting. He's not even as entertaining as he was in 2020 and 2016.
How worried are you about a third party? And there'll be multiple third-party candidates. So it doesn't take a lot. I know a third-party candidate isn't likely to be elected president or beat either one, but I mean, how worried are you? Yeah, how worried are you about that?
I have to be worried. But you know what? You got to control the controllables. Got to control what you have to control. Right now, it's getting the vote out.
Do you think it's a mistake then for Democrats to try to keep these third-party candidates, no labels, and the others off the ballot? You're seeing an effort.
Yeah, I think when you try to suppress choice and voice, it tends to backfire.
Especially when you're talking about the importance of democracy. If you're trying to keep people off the ballot.
So I don't get consumed by that, and I'm not here on behalf of the Biden administration even thinking about that. I'm a simple guy, but what I mean by that is I look at, for example, let's look at no labels. I actually took the time. I encourage people to look up what are they for, and I thought, wow, this is literally reads as the accomplishment list of the Biden-Harris administration. So they're a solution in search of a problem. I respectfully submit.
You've taken on this fight with some of the red state governors, obviously, Ron DeSantis.
I appreciate you noticing.
And you said you did it because you didn't think Democrats were fighting hard enough. Does that include the Biden administration?
That was a year and a half ago. Now I don't feel that way anymore. Absolutely not. Look, when Dobbs hit, that was a wake-up call. Because one thing we've learned with this anger industry on the right-wing side is illusion dominates facts. It's narrative trumping facts. That's why Trump himself uses the courtroom as a campaign stop. It's to dominate the narrative. And I would hope that Democrats learn a little bit about communication strategy by flooding the zone and starting to get back on our feet in terms of dominating narrative. That's exactly what Biden's been doing. It's exactly what Harris has been doing on issues related to choice. And it's exactly why I'm here.
One other important thing kind of looming over this, obviously, a lot of discussion of President Biden's age, which raises the question, if something were to happen to Biden,
okay. If something will happen to any of us.
Right.
All right.
So what happens? Is it Kamala Harris?
Well, we know that. She's the vice president of the United States, absolutely. By definition. Something happens to me, it's the lieutenant governor of the state of California.
I'm talking about as the candidate. I mean,
yeah. Oh, come on.
So she's the nominee.
And we all spend time with Biden. Spend time with him. I mean, 3 hours on photo lines, on 3 events a day, then giving speeches. Are you kidding? At 80 years old to be in that kind of health? I have no issues whatsoever. And by the way, I'm an old-fashioned guy. You know, I think Bobby Kennedy said it best. What the world needs are the qualities of youth, not a time of life, a state of mind, a quality of imagination. That's Joe Biden.
Our thanks to Jonathan Karl for that conversation. And still to come, she started on social media, but now she's playing to sold-out crowds. Jessie Murph reflects on her success, her music, and collaborating with artists like Jelly Roll.
Why do so many people start their day here?
From ABC News, this is Start Here.
To be in the know and get a different take on the day's top stories.
A lot of news today, so let's get into it.
Listen now to the Daily News Podcast honored with 4 Edward R. Murrow Awards and see why the New York Times calls it a news podcast worth listening to. Start Here, ABC News. Make it your daily first listen.
Now, that's a part of the story I bet you didn't see coming.
Wherever you get your podcasts, Start Here. With so much at stake, so much on the line, more Americans turn here than any other newscast. ABC News World News Tonight with David Muir, America's #1 most watched newscast across all of television. From America's #1 news comes the all-new ABC News app. Breaking news, incredible video, faster, smarter, and customizable to your interests. If you love being in the know, you're gonna love this. Experience the all-new ABC News app. Download it now.
All right, here we go. You ready? Let's do it. Yes, it's the show America wants and America needs right now.
This is What Would You Do? Let's go. How are you?
Yeah. So what will you be watching Saturdays on ABC News Live?
What would you do?
Hey, I guess I just found out.
The What Would You Do Marathon, 2 to 6 Eastern, every Saturday on ABC News Live.
My favorite show.
From posting her music on TikTok and YouTube to collaborating with artists like Diplo and Jelly Roll, vocalist and songwriter Jessie Murph has created a unique sound with more than 40 sold-out shows across the country last year and just 19 years old. Let's take a listen.
Got me wide, wide open, got a 45 on him, and he pushing about 102. Always smoking something, he ain't worried about nothing, cause he ain't got nothing to lose. I got a thing for the wow.
Jessie Murph, welcome to the show. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
So, born in Nashville, grew up in Alabama. I mean, we can hear that kind of southern twang in your songs, but then some of them you mix with like a little bit of rap. How did you decide you were going to merge those two genres together?
I feel like I just kind of grew up hearing a lot of both, but I've always been super passionate about both genres, and I don't know, they've just always kind of, that's how I've always like expressed myself. It just comes out in that font, I feel like.
And did you, when you recently finished your tour, Cowboys and Angels, and you sometimes get out on the stage and you've shaved, you know, someone who was attending's head, there's a really intimate interaction. Give us a sense of what it's like to attend one of your concerts.
It can range from, I feel like either you're gonna cry or we have fun. You know, it's a lot of different stuff, but I try to take them through all the emotions. There's a lot of anger, a lot of sadness, and fun too.
And we were talking just a little while ago, I was asking if you write your music because you're only 19, and yet it's so powerful. I mean, there was one line that you wrote If I Died Last Night, where you said, it's scary what they call love and how fast what is can turn to what was. What is your motivation when you're writing? And a lot of it is very just painful, I would say.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with stuff I've just like seen in my life. I feel like I kind of had to grow up pretty fast. But I take a lot of inspiration from things I saw like as a kid and just like not so great situations. It's always been my way to like cope with stuff, so yeah.
Is it a release? Is it kind of cathartic?
100%, because I'm not about to talk about anything.
Really?
Yeah, no, never.
So you can just put to paper what your mouth won't always say. You can
100%.
Sing it rather than say it. You talked about, you know, growing up. Who were some of your inspirations in the music industry?
Ooh, I'd say my main, like, 2 or 3. Amy Winehouse, Adele, and then, like, Drake or Lil Baby.
Anybody that you'd look forward to having a collaboration with right now?
Ooh, that I know of that's like happening for sure?
No, that you would want to. If you could
Okay.
put it out into the universe.
Oof. I'd have to say Drake or Lil Baby.
You have a number of festivals coming up, number of concerts. For your diehard fans, what can they expect for you this year?
A lot of shows, for sure. Lots of new music that I'm really excited about. Yeah.
And when we're looking at these pictures of you, thousands of people out in the audience, is that when you feel most alive?
Oh, wow. Definitely. I'd say so. Yeah, that and writing are my favorite parts.
A lot of people dream of being where you are now, just at 19. If you were to give someone who has this ideal goal of being a singer, achieving some kind of success, what would be your advice?
I'd say social media.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't be where I am without social media. Being from Alabama, it's like not a common career path, I'd say. And I started posting on TikTok, and like that changed my life. So I always will say that.
How old were you? How were you discovered?
I started posting on TikTok at like 15, probably, posting covers. And then once one of those blew up, I was like, oh my God, I can do this with my own music. So that's kind of how I did that. But yeah, TikTok's incredible, man.
Did you ever think that you were going to be where you are now?
I did. I've been manifesting this since I was like 11. Yeah.
Wow, that's super impressive. We just congratulations on all the success that you're having and continued success in the future. Jesse Murph, what a pleasure to have you here. Thank you so much. And that is our show for tonight. I'm Lindsay Davis. ABC News Live is here for you all night with the latest news, context, and analysis. You can always find us on Hulu, Roku, Pluto TV, the ABC News app, and, of course, abcnews.com. The news never stops. Thanks so much for streaming with us. Have a great night. This is ABC News Live.
The crush of families here in Poland.
At refugee centers
in Putin's Russia.
On the ground in Ukraine.
Close to the front line.
From the capital, destructive Cat 4 storm.
You're along I-5. Boston is in the bullseye. Let's go.
ABC News Live, America's #1 streaming news. Anytime, anywhere. Streaming 24/7, straight to you for free.
Thank you for making ABC News Live America's #1 streaming news.
Why do so many people start their day here?